Hello everybody and welcome back to Kerbal Space Program, where last episode we got this docked up and moved most of the way over to our core module. But we're not quite there yet. So, what we need to do, of course, is we need to check our electric charge. You can see here that I did recharge off camera. So we have a full charge and we should be good to go if I can just remember which direction is forward. We're about to find out. I think it's this way. Yeah, it's definitely this way. So we're cruising on forward here very slowly. We'll build up some speed, but once we get up to the core module, we know that we're going to have to drop this component in order to get it docked in, right? So that's absolutely fine. It does not matter in theory. But we'll probably want to reuse these parts later on. So for now, let's just build up a little bit of speed here. Heavy on the little, but we're basically at the crest of this hill, and it looks like we're going to start going... It's pretty flat, but I think we're going to be slightly downhill. We're now really starting to build up speed, and it looks like these wheels are not actually on the ground, but that's just because of the shadow bias. It's okay. They're actually on the ground. So we're not quite heading towards the core module right now. Let's just turn ourselves a little bit. We need to be pretty careful with these turns because our weight is pretty high up here. Now that's interesting. That's very interesting. The other direction now appears to be the direction that we need to go. I wonder if this is based in part on the directionality of this. So, like, if we were to control from here, which way would be which? This is forward. This is backward. Yep, that's very clear. Okay. So now we know for a fact, and it shouldn't change when we turn. I think when we were controlling from up here, it was changing which direction was forward and which direction was backward when we were turning. It definitely felt like it anyway. So let's close on in here. We've got another roughly 200 meters to go. We're traveling at about 4 meters per second, and this is maybe a little on the fast end. I'm currently coasting and we're accelerating, so we are going downhill at this moment. And remember, we're going to have to back this thing in. And also adjust the height so that the height is correct. But that shouldn't be that big of a deal in theory. So we're currently at about 5 meters per second. I'm going to turn and overshoot a little bit. I'd like to be up the hill from this guy. Okay. There we go. We're turned a little bit. And now we're going uphill a little. And so that means that we need to be putting power into acceleration. So that's absolutely fine. We're going to head on forward. And we're going to need to drop this thing basically like right now. I'm going to go ahead and undock this. I want it to be fairly close, but a little out of the way. Okay. And we'll see if that solar panel breaks, but yeah, it did. That's okay. So we're shooting on past this right now. And we are slowing down ever so slightly. So we're going to turn on our brake action group about now. There we go. Just bringing it down to a halt. Because we need to set as target here, and I want to control from here. There we go. So, now we're going to need to approximately line up our angling, and that's going to be maybe a little bit awkward here. Okay, that's uphill. This is downhill at this juncture. So that's noted. So we're working on doing a little bit of a turn here. and trying to back this thing in. But this is going to be a lot. As you can see, we have a lot less electric charge now because we left these batteries behind, and that's going to limit our maneuvering capabilities. Okay, so we're not really rolling downhill. This is really very flat here, but we are rolling downhill a little bit. So I'm just going to feather our turn as we build up electric charge, is the idea here. But we need to be very, very slight with it. Or we need to just go for it. One or the other. And we kind of have to build up some speed and then crank the turn. Oh, look at this. This steering is in the wrong direction. This steering is also... Okay, that's the issue. There we go. Now our steering is working vaguely correctly. That's going to work a lot better now. Okay, so what I want to do at this point is I want to bring us to a halt. And now I want to go forward, the other forward, and steer it this way a little bit. And then we're going to look to just back this thing right on in. Okay. Bringing it to the other side. Trying to turn it. That's not going so well. Okay. I was turning it the wrong way. That'll do it. So let's just bring this over a bit. Ah, we're running out of electric charge. Noted. Let's bring it to a halt. We're pretty close to inline. And let's let our power recharge here quick. So we'll give it some time warp. Let that juice build back up. Excellent. Okay, so we're recharged now. And let's bring this backwards. And in terms of the turning direction, it needs to go not that way, the other way. We need to remember that this is not going to want to jackknife, right? Okay. Controls are kind of awkward here, no doubt about that. But yeah, this thing doesn't really like to jackknife very much, so that's definitely something to consider here. Our angling is pretty good at this point, I feel like. By no means is it perfect, but it's pretty good. Now what we need to do is turn on the brakes, and we're going to have to adjust the height here. So, this seems to be a little lower than I expected it to be. That's maybe okay. So let's go ahead and turn down our target extension over here to about 0.4. And we'll do the same here. Down to about 0.4. And we'll see where that's sitting. Okay, both of those are off the ground. So I'm going to move these to 0.4 as well. Okay. And then this is currently maintaining a lot of stress. Let's get that stress off of there. Down to about 0.4. And I think we're probably going to do this for all of these. Is just drop them down to 0.4. Stress is back here now. Okay. So put that at 0.4, and we'll see where that's sitting in terms of height. But that'll definitely get us some ways. So this is going to need to go down to 0.4, and then this is going to need to go down to 0.4. This is why we had adjustable wheel heights, for the record, so that we could get this a little bit better lined up. Okay, so that's 0.4 there, and then this is going to be down to 0.4 as well. Okay, how's that looking for height? It's better. But I'm not going to say it's perfect. Let's have this end be at 0.3 for right now. And let's see how that goes if we just make our way in here. There, we just docked. Oh, and something exploded. It was the wheels up here. Oh, all of our wheels exploded, pretty much. Okay, so that's not normal. The wheels should not have exploded there. That's clearly a physics bug. So let's go back to the latest autosave, which would have been... this is the mission elapsed time. Year 21, day 346. Yeah, this is about 2 minutes in the past. So let's load this in. Those wheels should not have exploded. That just happened during the docking event. So this autosave, I believe, occurred while we were adjusting the height. So what I'm going to do is, well, this is going to take us back to the VAB. But I'm going to turn on unbreakable joints and no crash damage for right now. So let's see here. Cheats, unbreakable joints, and no crash damage, because that's clearly a physics bug. Those wheels shouldn't explode in that situation. So we'll just make sure that that doesn't happen, and this is our fuel production module here. We'll go ahead and quote-unquote fly that, because we need to get this docked in here. And then our next mission is to undock the fuel production, or rather the mining module, and get that docked up separately, which we should be able to do without any major issues. Okay, let's see if this save is good. Yes, this save is indeed good. So, at this point, it looks like we have not adjusted our target extension for all of these, so unfortunately we have to do that again. That's very sad indeed, but let's just bring this down. We know that 0.4 was good for all of these, but I believe we went a little bit lower on the very back end of it in order to get it to actually dock. Now, we've got a bit of a lean going on here, which isn't terribly surprising. We'll bring this down to 0.4 and this down to 0.4. And all of these down as well. Again, this is why we have adjustable wheels on this, so that we can have whatever height we need. So this is down to 0.4, and now all of the strain is on this singular wheel. Although this... Oh, we just docked. Okay. So we just docked there, and this time... I didn't actually expect to dock there, but okay. This time we didn't have these break, and this is probably because we have unbreakable joints and no crash damage on. We're going to turn those back off eventually. But for right now, this is fine. So what I want to do next is I want to undock this. There we go. And we're going to pull this out and away. So it needs to go this direction. It's barely moving. So this is uphill, but it is barely moving. Where are we controlling from? We should be controlling from here. And we're going to want to have this be our target point. So we need to just pull this up and around, and there'll be some uphill involved in that for sure. Okay, we're not really able to move here, it looks like. Yeah, we're just barely able to drift forward. So that's very unfortunate, to be sure. Actually, we're sliding to the side, is what we're doing right now. So I was going to say that our problem might have to do with this target extension, but I don't think it actually does. I think that our core issue is just one of... we just don't want to go. I'm trying to have our wheels push forward right now. We could try increasing the target extension here. I'm just taking it to there for now. And then on this side, and then on this side. Okay. So we can try this. I don't expect this to be different. It's acting like the brakes are on. I'm going to turn the brakes on and then off again. They were on. There was just a visual bug. This was not turned on, so I assumed that the brakes weren't on, but they were on. Okay, so we need to get this thing turned. I don't care what orientation this gets docked up as. So we can have it be facing this way or facing this way. It'll be easier to do the latter here, I suspect. So we're just going to continue to turn. Get this thing turned around. We're going to have to change the height on it again, of course. This is becoming a very tight turn. And I don't really like the way that we are wiggling at the moment. Okay, so this way is forward at this moment. Noted. I want to get a little distance out over here, and then we can start pivoting in and trying to make for this docking port. Excellent. So we're going to get turned in out over this direction. Need to get some speed going again. Other way. There we go. How are we doing on electric charge? It's okay for the time being. Okay, so all of our directionalities are reversed from what I'm used to, but that's okay. We're having a hard time with the actual turning component here. We can do that in reverse if we need to, which it looks like we're going to need to. So that's okay. We'll just move a little further forward, and then we're going to begin to reverse. And we're going to turn like... Boy, it really doesn't like to turn. Okay, I'm going to turn off the steering on these two wheels. I believe that they're a bit too much. Okay, so we need to go this way. Yeah. So that seems relatively fine. We'll just slowly work on that. We'll build up a little speed here and then go for the turn. Yeah, the issue is we just don't have enough speed, really, for this turn to happen. I'm going to re-enable the steering on this wheel, and I'm actually going to enable it on every wheel. Although some of these are probably going to be in the wrong orientation. And that's absolutely understood. So let's enable steering here and enable steering here. Actually, that's pretty close. That's going pretty well, all things considered. The main issue is that these are turning opposite. So let's have it be like that and then like that. There. Now we should have a much easier time turning. Beautiful. So let's move this around the other direction, and we'll start closing in on this. I want to move a little bit more forward so that we're lined up slightly better, and then just go for the turn once we're pretty lined up here. Yeah. I think I overshot it a little bit, but somewhere around here should be pretty decent. We're going to have to change the height on this, and of course, the sky crane is going to have to go. But we have to get this docked up before the sky crane goes, which is going to be a little spicy, I think. We're not quite at an optimal angle here, but I think it's probably close enough. We can try it anyway. Let's turn the brakes on. And we're going to need to drop this down. We know it worked relatively fine with the previous one at 0.4, and I'm just going to do it like this. Okay. Something about like that. I just don't want this thing to tip over on us, right? So we'll get those hydraulics a bit better oriented. And I'm just going for it. That's very, very close here. That's gotta be docked, right? That was so close. Are we too high? Nope. There we go. We're docked. Okay. So that looks good. At this point, brakes go on. And these two components are now attached. But we got to get rid of this sky crane. So, first things first, we undock one side. But which side is this attached to? I think we have to throttle it up first and then undock. So let's do something like this. And unbreakable joints and crash damage being off could be a problem if this flies up over here. But given our orientation, I expect it to fly pretty straight up. We did lose an engine here, but the engine on this side is deactivated, right? Should actually be this engine that's deactivated, like that. Okay, so it should be like this, and then we just need to throttle this up and quickly undock these. So this is going to be exciting. Okay. That's very loud, but it's fine. We had no collisions, so that's all good. Now, this is going to crash, and I kind of want to turn off unbreakable joints and no crash damage, but I'm going to make a save first, because I'm concerned that the wheels are still going to explode. We'll find out. So that's going to hit the ground, and it's not going to go boom. I don't think it would have gone boom at that speed anyway, to be honest. It hit the ground very slowly. So that's fine. We've got this bit of gantry that's just chilling here, and for the moment, that's okay as well. I'm going to make a save here. And I'm noticing these wheels bugging out a little bit. Here. That's all understood. We will see if that's a problem right about now. So the save is made. Let's turn these off and see if those wheels blow up. Not now. Okay. Let's see if they blow up when we load this back in. That's going to be the real question. So let's head to the tracking station. Let's load it back in and see if we've got an exploding wheel problem the moment we load it up. If we do, well, then we'll probably just have to have unbreakable joints and no crash damage when we're in the Duna core module. I don't love that. I do not love that. But we'll see. Do we have explosions? We have a save right where our vehicles are fine. So that seems okay. I do not see explosions. Okay. I think we're good then. For now. We're probably, whenever we dock something else up to this, we're probably going to have to turn on unbreakable joints and no crash damage to prevent things from randomly exploding. I think that's okay. I'm not terribly concerned about that. So what we want to do now is we want to unfurl at least some of our Gigantors, which we cannot do because we don't have any control over this. So we can't get this started mining until we have a Kerbal here, actually. Well, no, we have no probe control here, right? Yeah, no probe control whatsoever here. So this is intended to be manned. So that's fine. I was going to get it started mining and producing fuel, but that's not necessary. It's absolutely okay. So next up, we need to bring over what we had previously been working on, which is our setup for hydroponics, our life support specifically, and our very first Kerbal that's going to come over and start running this operation. That is the next goal, but it is time to put a cut in here, so I'm going to go ahead and do that, and next episode, we're going to head on over with more components, and it should be easier to get them docked up this time, theoretically. You can leave your offerings to the engagement gods in the form of likes, comments, subscribes, and bell ringings, and a very special thank you to all of the channel members for making this video possible, including ALS Gamer, Dark Horse, Ethan Feldman, Upper Cumberland Gamers, Nick Smarty, Dimitri H, Punching the Microphone, The Lounge STL, Rornaz, and all the rest. And of course, you. Thank you for watching. If you'd like to support the channel, you can click the join button down below the video, and as always, I will see you all next time.